This video is for all the players who wish that they could roleplay more, which should hopefully be all of us. This includes those players that monologue, shy players, and even game masters, who I think are nearly always players too, but that's a topic for another video. And there's even a special bonus tip at the end that will take your game to the next level. Tip 1. Let's talk about the weather. The British love to talk about the weather.
Righto, old chap. It's rather raining cats and dogs today, isn't it?
It's an easy conversation starter that we all have an opinion on. Your characters also have opinions, and lots of them hopefully. So asking another player's character about the weather, or anything, is a great tool to involve others more.
Righto, old chap. It's rather raining fire and brimstone today, isn't it? You're telling me I've had to put the horse's tail out twice today? Yes, definitely not cloak weather.
You don't actually need to talk about the weather. A better conversation would be something directly related to your current objective or about something that happened to the party recently. You could ask another character about what they think of Mayor Gerald, or how they're coping since the fall of the Spider Queen. It doesn't matter. What matters is that when you get the chance, you use your time role-playing to directly involve other player characters. Tip 2. Help! Sometimes it isn't quite the right time to be chatting. First, get stuck into the task at hand. What can your character do to actively better the situation? Steal the spotlight by doing that task. Then, ask for help. Try and think of ways that this task would benefit from having multiple people working on it. It's fine to try and climb the castle wall all by yourself, but it's better if you can ask one player to give you a boost, another player to help you look out, and another player to cause a distraction. This gets everyone on task and shares the spotlight on each player character. As a bonus tip, work out ways in which you can highlight another character's strengths as part of this interaction too. Have your character comment on how the performing bard is doing an amazing job distracting the town guard, or at how impressed your character is at the strength of the barbarian, giving you that boost. By involving other player characters and getting everyone to help out, you're being inclusive at the table. Better still, most systems even offer some form of advantage when characters work together, so you're killing two birds with one stone. Oh shit. Enjoying the tips so far? Let me know your favourite in the comments. We've got more tips coming out on this channel, and I stream Strixhaven games on Fridays, so if you'd like to see that, subscribe and stay up to date. Tip 3. I see what you did there. While mostly a verbal medium, role-playing in TTRPGs can involve much more than your voice. You could even steal the spotlight with body language. You can just as easily describe how your character is emoting instead of finding something to say. Then, to share the spotlight, bring other people into the scene by exchanging a certain look with them or emoting what your character is doing in order to help another player. Let's look at an example. Oceanus the Artificer looks uncertain about the repairs he is making and is pacing back and forth along the boat. Oceanus looks to Captain Helena, the half-elf paladin, for direction. Here Oceanus is inviting Helena to assist and directly involving them in the roleplay, yet he's only taking a small amount of time out of the story for himself. This tip is especially good for the classic lone wolf character that people often like to play but find hard to collaborate with. When playing these types of characters, don't just wait to be asked something, only to give a one-word gruff reply. Take control of the scene with body language and use it to involve others in what your character is thinking and feeling. Tip 4. Call them out. If you've watched some of my earlier videos, you'll know I'm rather against player versus player in my games. However, when it's character versus character and the players are all in on the roleplay, it can be a wonderful way to tell a story collaboratively. Maybe Reginald the Rogue decided to steal from an NPC, and your character has some thoughts about this. Call that character out. This is a great way for your characters to effectively discuss morality and how they want to work as a group going forward. It could even lead to more rivalry or the best of friendships, meaning even more fun role-playing together. Remember, you're using this as a tool to share the spotlight, so listen to the other character, don't just tell them off. The golden rule here is that this type of roleplay shouldn't be used to control how others play their character. The goal, after all, is to tell a story that shares everyone's ideas. If you're actually annoyed with something in the game, or there's a concern around PvP, I'd advise you to stop the session, take a break, then talk through any problems. If PvP is something you're concerned about at your table, I've got some tips and tricks in a video right here. Tip 5. Do the thing. If talking isn't getting you anywhere, and body language is too subtle, then steal the scene with
cup of tea.
You can engage the table in what you're doing, rather than what you say or how you act. Start some activity that supports the current roleplay and gives you an opportunity to take part in it, whilst also giving a platform for others to roleplay off of. Have your character wake the party up with a nice breakfast and use your magic or skills to add your own twist to the meal. Maybe shape water the tea into their cups and press to digitate the stale buns to make them yummy again. Ask the quietest player what their character thinks of the food. It doesn't even have to be as big as making breakfast. Go check on the pack mule and have another player's gear accidentally fall off, or if your character is tired, maybe bump into a quiet player, giving you the opportunity to engage with them. Just before we get to the last tip and a secret bonus bit of advice at the end, I wanted to thank you for all the support so far. It's been amazing to see how many of you have reached out after trying my Strixhaven DM's guild product, taken inspiration from my videos, or use my free Patreon maps in your games. If you're ever looking to get more involved, feel free to join my Discord community. But whether you've checked out all of my stuff in the description already, or this is your first time here, thanks again. Take an opportunity attack. Often the best way to engage with another character is to repeat what they've already told you. The best way to steal the spotlight is to not steal it at all. Write down what they say, what is important to their characters, how their characters respond. Then, when there's a quiet moment, ask them about it. How have they been feeling since they lost their favourite dagger? Why did they punch the chicken that tried to cross the road? Have they got used to being undead yet? By asking questions that directly relate to the story of another character, you are giving yourself the chance to roleplay what your character thinks, how they feel, and what they do, all whilst including others, and using your platform to give them space to roleplay too. Showing you are paying attention to what the other players do at the table is the best way to steal the spotlight and engage everyone at the table, giving your games the best collaborative storytelling experience you could ask for. Bonus tip: whenever the game master asks, "What do you do?" immediately turn to the rest of your party members and repeat the question in character.
So, what do you do? So, what do you do?
People will find this funny, and it really helps players stop thinking just to themselves and start collaborating, speeding things along famously. And those are 6 tips to help improve your games. If you found something useful, give the video a like to let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, have some great games, be kind to one another, and I'll see you next time.